Two, check. Two, hello. Hello. Folks, don't we love having a cough that keeps us up all night and only being able to sleep 3 hours a night? Most doctors actually recommend it. That's weird, Jake, is like, whenever that's happened to me in the past, I don't like that. I generally don't like that. So, you know, I guess different people can be into different stuff. I'm glad it's going well for you, though. I hope you don't have COVID. I guess it's you can just be sick now. You can just be sick, and that's not necessarily what it is. I've been very fortunate. I haven't been getting sick very much over the last couple of months. I'm looking extra tussled. Maybe I'm a little tussled. I don't know. I didn't take a shower today, just full disclosure. Usually I like to take a shower before I get started, and I just was a little busy. I was doing some stuff this morning. I was wrapping some presents, tidying up a little bit, doing some stuff. And I did not have time. It's not my anarchist arc. I'm pro bathing. I'm pro bath time and pro bedtime and pro homework. All of these things. I still support all these things. Just one day. I didn't have quite the time on my hands that I wanted. Not only am I pro shower and bathing and bedtime and homework, I also just think authoritarian dictatorships are good. I just think they're really good, and I like them. So that's another big indicator that that's not part of my political persuasion. Nap stream? I don't think I would be very comfortable with a nap stream, honestly. I think I have like sleep apnea, and I make weird sounds, and I think people would be making fun of me, probably. I'd be honk shooing on here. Okay, no, I am anti-homework, actually. I am anti-homework, okay? I take that part back. I don't know, my kid's 8 years old, and I feel like he has way more homework than I did when I was 8. I don't remember having homework when I was 8 years old. You know? I don't recall ever doing one bit of homework. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I did have homework when I was 8 years old, but I don't remember that at all. Pro-learning, anti-busy work. Well, that's what I mean. It's like, and listen, I have nothing but respect for the teachers and educators. They work really hard. My son's teachers are they're very wonderful, you know? But it's kind of like, this is your area. This is your department, you know? You handle this stuff. I handle everything else. That's the implicit arrangement here between parent and teacher, you know? And it's not even the teacher's idea. No, it's just part of the curriculum and everything. That's why. But that's what I mean. It's like this is you. This is what your job is for. I do the other stuff. I do the feeding and the bathing and the general like life wisdom. That's the teaching I do. You know? And we go to events and we do fun stuff together. You know? That's the kind of stuff that I do. That's my end of the bargain. That's my responsibility. Did I have Bill Maher fans in the comments? That I didn't see any of that, Diego. That's funny. Imagine being a vocal Bill Maher fan in 2023. Like, what the fuck's gone wrong with your life? You're getting mad at people on Twitter to defend Bill. We must defend Bill Maher. This arrogant multimillionaire fucking smarmy prick. I must spend my time going after his detractors. Couldn't be me. I enjoy teaching my kids, but my kids don't like it. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're teaching them, right? It depends. My kid just really needs to be in one of those like Scandinavian schools where they just play around and outside and draw and stuff all day. I think he would really thrive in that kind of an environment. You know who really tells it like it is? Some old gray fuck who smokes cloves and complains about kids. That's just the most boring angle. Like the Gervais angle, the Bill Maher angle. Oh, you can't even say everyone's so sensitive. Literally there's been boring assholes for decades now. For decades doing this. Every new generation. This new generation's so sensitive, not like when I was younger. Blah, 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 blah. Who is this for? Who cares? You couldn't make Superbad today. You couldn't make All in the Family today. You couldn't make Family Matters today. You couldn't make Fresh Prince of Bel-Air today. Like, fuck. Just go and make a movie. Make a movie with all the swears in it you want. Just do it, please. Please just shut up. Just make your movie with all the swears and all the innuendos that you want. Just make it. And I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. Just do it. If you do it and it's funny, it's going to do well. That's what these people don't understand. You can talk about whatever you want. You can joke about whatever you want. No, there's nothing that's off limits. There's nothing that's out of bounds. Just as long as it's funny. If it's funny, then do it. If you're just talking about things that you can't say and saying like, ooh, I'm so naughty. I just said the bad word. I just said the bad slur. I just said the bad subject. That's not funny. That's just fucking, that's so boring. You know? Ooh, look at me. Like, what are you, 7 years old? Art is getting away with it. I really like that. Was that Anthony Jeselnik that said that, or is that just a famous saying? Because I saw a clip of Anthony Jeselnik making that case the other day and using that phrase, and that really spoke to that kind of sentiment. You know? If people are laughing, good job. Whatever it is. If people are going, that kind of makes me uncomfortable. It's like, then you failed. You're not a comedian. You're just a fucking asshole. That's all. Do you ever tell jokes? Do you ever do jokes in your comedy routines anymore? You know? Ooh, I just said the bad thing. Ooh, I'm a little naughty boy. I'm a little naughty boy. Ho, 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 ho. Fuck. You couldn't write Boys to Men's hit single today. Nope. Not with woke culture how it is. He was quoting Warhol, who may or may not have originally said it. Okay, thank you. It's just so annoying. This whole fucking thing. Imagine being paid millions of dollars a year to just complain all day on TV. Just complain all day on TV on your show that has your name on it. Getting paid you're a multi-millionaire just complaining all day about the things that you're not allowed to say anymore. It's like what an easy job. What an easy job that is. I wish someone would pay me to do that. Just whine and complain every single day. Thank you for my $1 million now. If Bill Maher do a solid hour making fun of Muslims, I'm sure it'll be really funny and make millions of dollars. Yeah, exactly. No, good. Good. This stuff is so annoying. Hey, Marty, how's it going? I appreciate you, Diego, for going through my Menchies to find these things, which I don't see any of this. I never look at one of these comments that you see. I don't look at them. I don't read them. I don't think about them. Anytime I do, it's just a one-way ticket to just like Sadnessville. It's funny for me to think about people being like, well, I'm going to give this guy a piece of my mind. And I just don't, I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't look at it. I don't care. Millionaire, pothead, Islamophobic comedians are having a rough time in this world right now. Well, it's funny too, being a big like Israel guy, Mr. Atheist, Mr. Big Atheist. Oh, all these different religions. That's a little bit cringe, sir. All these religions, religious. I don't believe in the sky, daddy. But yeah, no, I think that there should be a Jewish ethno-state that commits apartheid based on like what religion people are. And when people get mad at them for dropping bombs on the prison camp that they control, I get all like righteous and indignant about it. It's weird how the atheism stops at Israel's borders, and then as soon as you get past Israel's borders, and it's like the atheism evaporates out of Bill Maher's body. And he's like, no, we need this heavily armed military apartheid ethno state. You know? It doesn't seem like he is that much of an atheist, really. Why does the Sky Daddy care who lives in that region? You know? I am atheist. I hate every religion. Now do you have 4 hours to talk about how much I hate Islam and how it's infringing on our Judeo-Christian values in our society, which I don't believe in, by the way, and I think are dumb, but I must defend. What is that, Blueberry? One of our favorite debate streamers had a similar stance. In terms of like being atheist, but also supporting Israel? Is that what you're talking about? Hey Matt, how's it going? Stephen admitted to being an Islamophobe because he hates all religions. Oh, good. Good. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. Being an atheist Zionist is kind of a funny bit, actually. It really is. It's good you don't read the replies because one called Mar the OG liberal and you a new liberal. Wow, okay. They were really trying to cut deep on that one, I guess. Yeah, that was literally the first Zionist. Well, that's it. I mean, we talked about the origins of Zionism yesterday. You know, Herzl himself, yeah. But it's just become so inseparable from like the Jewish religious tradition that the people that you know, the Israelis have made that link so overt. And even when you have secular or religious Orthodox Jewish people that are like, no, we don't support Israel, they're like, no, you don't count as being Jewish. I might get some more water. I just had an energy drink. I wanted to drink that on camera, but I was thirsty and I was eating a sandwich and I got a little ahead of myself and I drank it already. It was an orange Monster. I wrapped some presents this morning. I got some presents under the tree here. It was an ultra sunrise. That's exactly right. Yeah. I'm really bad at wrapping presents. It's I did it. You know, it looks fine. I really don't think I did a very good job, though. I'm having somewhat of a hard time right now, honestly. I think I always struggle a little bit this time of year. I think this year, for a variety of reasons that we don't need to get into at the moment, it's like more difficult, and it's my son's birthday as well, so it's his birthday on Friday. So it's like there's just so much shit to be doing and organizing and buying. Got a whole holiday period I'm trying to plan out. You know, it's like it's been somewhat difficult. I'm really looking forward to just getting this next kind of 2 weeks over that. Just like getting through this next 2 weeks or so. Looking forward to, when's New Year's? The 31st? Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to just getting through this whole period here. It's Eloise's B-Day today. The big 1-0. Cool, another Christmas baby. Happy birthday to Eloise. This close to U.S. election season is always hard. That's right. It's always election season. That's the where they get you. You know I'm out of it when you're live for almost half an hour, and I was sitting right here the whole time. You're here now. That's the most important thing. Ugh. Really disappointed to see Bernie Sanders not calling for a ceasefire. I really don't understand Bernie's position that he's tried to carve out here, because he's trying to like take some kind of a strong stance and talking about the violence against civilians and talking about conditioning aid to Israel and all this stuff, but he hasn't really seemed like he's this weird incomprehensible stance where he's like criticizing this stuff, but he's also being like, oh yeah, but they have to get Hamas. Like, what? I don't understand how that makes sense generally. You turned down the bisexual lighting? Not really. I just got more light coming in through my window there, so it's a little brighter. Pretty much the more natural light goes away, the more bisexual the lighting becomes, essentially. Hey, Kijiji. First. Kijiji Genie slides right in there for the first. It was very close, but you gotta hand it to Kijiji. I think I'm just gonna get another glass of water. I'll be right back. I'm gonna be a hydrated guy today. Slamming back waters. Slamming back waters like a man. I think it's really easy to get disillusioned at this time of year. Christmas was always a bummer of a time in my childhood. Now as an adult, it's hard not to almost black pill yourself with the out in the open commercialization and profiteering going on at the expense of people just trying to get by. The only thing that saved the season for me is having a kid who absolutely loves Christmas time. Yeah, I mean, that's That's part of it as well, Marty. It's just like, just making sure that he has a nice time, right? Making sure that the kids are happy. I think he's going to be good. He's really excited for his birthday. He's really, really excited. He's 8 years old. That's so hard for me to believe. 8 years old, my son is. That's like absolutely insane. I wonder if I can find... Let me see if I can find it. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. My landlord sold my apartment, so I get to move during Christmas time. That sounds absolutely horrible on so many different levels. Look at this. Look at this. Just take a look at this. Like... He's so small. You know how big this guy is now? He's 8 years old. He's like up to my shoulder. He's like this big dude, and he still often sleeps in my bed with me as well. So oftentimes I'm sleeping with like this big giant guy now. Like, what the hell? How did he used to look like that? How? He's so tiny. He's like 2.5 months old there. Like, he's really young. He's really... Yeah, Dem Sock Rob. This is how much I've changed now. I've got the Feel the Burn shirt in the picture, and the Pro DPRK shirt in the modern version. I'm saying that's my 8-month-old now. It's going to feel crazy after 8 years. It's just fucking... I mean, Mercurial Shroom, and the main thing is you got to just enjoy every moment, right? Because it's like when you have a kid like that size, it's just like the changes are just happening one after the other, you know? Every month it's a little bit different. And you just got to enjoy it because it goes away. It just goes away, and then it's gone. And they're just not babies anymore, and that's just gone away forever, you know? So you got to enjoy it. Or you got to try to. I think we recreated the same one. That was 14, so 2016, so it'd be 2017. Sorry, the Cheers song is stuck in my head. I was just watching Cheers. Obviously. Really love just throwing those on sometimes. Throwing on a Cheers. I really like those Cheers. You throw those on anytime you have like a eating breakfast or lunch or dinner. 22 minutes. 22 minutes in and out. Where is the other one? We recreated that exact same picture. I'm just scrolling through the pictures. It's funny seeing all my, like, there's all these old tweets and memes and screenshots and stuff that I downloaded that I can't even recall, like, why it was. Is it before? You want to go where people know troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. Oh, sorry. It's really in there now. It's really in there now. Just scrolling through my old pictures. This is fun for everyone. Everyone loves this. Everyone loves when I do this. Looking at something, not even looking at the chat. Scrolling away. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm not muted. We all have a good scrolling. I started playing Little League basketball when I was around his age. My kid is just so not... He's so not a sports kid. You know? And that's okay. Not everyone is. Not everyone is. It's alright. He's really, really not a sports guy, though. I was really thin. It's my other big takeaway here. I was very thin at that time still. That was nice. I'm not muted. That's not true. Oh, this is funny. This is not the exact same, but... Crap. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. Yeah, here was election night. That fine, fateful evening of Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. Look at that. Not a care in the world. Not a care in the world. Still with her. And everything turned out just fine. Everything turned out just fine. Everything was just dandy. Hillary saved America, as we all recall. Hello, Goth Bimbo next door. How's it going? Glad I'm not looking at pictures of my younger, hotter self now. You just missed out on that. When you see the one-to-one comparison, it's like, oh, he's really not looking too good now. You're riding with Biden. Of course, I've always been riding with Biden. That's me. That's me, Mr. Biden bro. Did it have a Lilith? You're talking about like the Cheers I was watching? No, this is when This is when Frasier just showed up, like when Frasier and Diane are together. This is before Lilith. I think Lilith is only introduced like after Diane leaves the show in like season 5. Early Frasier is good. It's been a long time since I watched any of that. Yeah, me in 2016 in a Bernie shirt versus me now with an AK-47 meme. It's been a journey for all of us. We've all been on a journey. Isn't that weird? Like, you know, it's not only my son, because like that's what I mean. He was a baby when Trump was elected. Now he's 8 years old. Like, isn't it fucked up that that whole first Bernie campaign was almost like 10 years ago now? It's like 8-9 years ago. Like, what the fuck? That's so bizarre. It's had this, the whole Trump the whole Trump era had this like distorting effect on time. I think we all started like getting so fixated on looking at our phones all the time and the constant insanity of the news cycle. It somehow feels like yesterday. Also, it feels like 20 years ago. Imagine still litigating the 2016 election, but Hillary warned us. We all thought Trump was good until Hillary told us that he was bad. I didn't know that. And COVID warp time as well. That's what I mean. It's like it was 4 years of Trump, and then like ever since we got into 2020, it's just been like
good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Orange man bad.
It's been like fucked up thing after fucked up thing. Starting with the assassination of Soleimani, and just it has not let up. Starting 2020. 10,000 sandwiches. Thanks so much for 37 months. Resub at tier 2. He is bad. He is bad. Absolutely. The Orange Man is bad. I think that's been the thing. Like we were talking yesterday, Trump made those horrible, disgraceful, disgusting comments the other day about immigrants the other day, which we've just come to expect. And it is horrible. He's a horrible person. He's a horrible man. But then you have like the good guys are in charge right now, and they're doing all the same horrible stuff, but just not saying the horrible things. Like we talked about this yesterday, right? That's basically all liberalism is. It's like, just don't say it. Just don't say it out loud. Just don't brag about it. There was a dang Cheeto in the White House, and there very well may be again. There very well may be a Cheeto in the White House again. Or maybe he's going to be in the White House from a jail cell. We don't know. We're 2% away from blood and soil, and Biden is like, come on, man. He doesn't have the House of Reps anymore. That's why he's not doing leftism. Okay, that must be why. That must be the reason. I mean, it's the dichotomy between like, well, what do you expect Biden to do? He can't do anything. He's only the president. He can't do anything. Even when he has the Senate and the House, he still can't do anything. But it's like, you must vote against Donald Trump. If he wins the presidency, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. I don't get that either. You know, when you're the president, do you have power to do stuff or don't you? It seems like Republicans have the power to do things. Conservatives have the power to do things. Liberals are just like, oh, what? Oh, I'm just a little guy. Oh. Which is it? You know? Which is it? Do you have power or don't you? I'm just a little small bean. Look at me. That's what they sound like to me. It's a deeply held liberal belief that government can never do anything good for citizens. It can only do bad stuff. And that's the thing. And when the government does do anything for good for citizens, it's bad, actually. And then we need to undo that because it's going to have all these bad consequences because the Mr. Economics guy told me. Mr. Economics man told me that it's bad when you give people money to like help them pay groceries or pay for rent or go to school or see a doctor. I know it sounds good in theory. It sounds good to just give people money and resources to be able to live lives of dignity, but trust me, it's bad. It's really bad to do that. It's better to just let people starve in the street, actually. That's right. Larry Summers said that children having enough to eat is bad for the economy. It's funny, too, because they bragged about cutting childhood poverty in half, and they should have bragged about it. Like, that's a policy that they should be talking about and enacting and bragging about. They brag about cutting childhood poverty, but they don't, weirdly, they don't brag about doubling childhood poverty when all those policies expire and get rolled back. It's because they're the only ones who follow the rules and norms. Their ineffectiveness to do anything to help people is actually a sign of their virtuosity. I like that. Yeah. It would be rude and against norms if we use the political power that we have to pass legislation that our voters want us to pass. So, can't do that. Four more years. That's why you got to line up to go vote. Exactly. I honestly just really do hope that Hillary runs. Like, I really do. Like, it would just be so great. I genuinely really want it now. I genuinely really, like, unironically, I really want that. No way she's running. You know she wants to, though. You know she wants to. You should run? I would if I was in the States. I mean, Jenk is running. I guess I could do it too. It's really more of like a mindset. If Biden has any medical problem, it's going to be Hillary for sure. And you know, based on the poll numbers, there's going to be some kind of medical problem that's going to make it impossible. I'm writing you in. I think I could get like a good 15, 20 votes. You know, that's not nothing. The fill-in is Newsom. Not unless Hillary has something to say about it. You forget, Blueberry, that it's still her turn. You forget that it's still her turn. She's going to backstab him somehow. The Clinton crime family is going to start leaking all kinds of stuff about gruesome Newsom. It would be hilarious if he did get Bernied, considering he's literally like everything that you could, if you're a liberal Democrat, you could possibly want. Just like a kind of handsome guy with a good haircut who's going to like do neoliberalism. Yeah, it could be the Trudeau, just a somewhat fresher face for the old, tired old program. I wonder if Newsom also did blackface. Well, probably. He probably did. Oh, U.S. election season. We're getting back into it. I can't believe it. We're back into it. Newsom dated Kimberly Guilfoyle, so I think the blackface thing is pretty likely. That's right. It's like a condition to date her. She wants to make sure. She'll only date anybody that's done blackface. This silly country you people live in. You people live in a silly country. 'Tis a silly place. Oh, Canada's not real either. I mean, Canada's very silly as well. Because you don't live in the silly country, I don't want to hear your opinions on Biden. We all live in the silly country. We all live in the silly country. We all have to deal with the silliness. I live in an even sillier resource colony of the silly country that we're talking about. My country's so silly we get our culture from fucking coffee commercials. Not even something cool like guns. Beer commercials too. Whoa. And two people just mentioned this incest coffee commercial. What the hell's that? What is the incest Folgers commercial? What the hell? What the hell's going on here? Jesus. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. I have no idea what this is.
I must have the wrong house.
Sister?
Oh, I missed you so much.
They waited up all night for you, you know.
It's a long way from West Africa. Oh, real coffee.
He's here.
I brought you something from far away.
Really? Oh.
What are you doing?
You're my present this year.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Yeah. Comes home from West Africa and says, "Oh, Folgers, a real coffee." Yeah, I don't know. There was some meaningful looks being exchanged there. I don't know. I understand you love your sibling, your brother or sister, whatever. There was some tension there for sure. There was a lot of unspoken something happening there. Okay. Wow. I had never seen that. I just came from a place that has some of the best coffee in the world, but this is real coffee. This is Folgers. Did you know I switched out your coffee with Folgers decaffeinated coffee crystals? What? I switched out your coffee with traditional coffee with Folgers decaffeinated coffee crystals. You son of a bitch. You lied to me. Oh man, that's great. You know the Chris Farley bit that I was thinking about the other day? That a really underrated one is his character that he did on Weekend Update a couple times, Bennett Brower. Right? Bennett Brower. I may not be the norm. And he keeps on doing this, and like it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. I've never had sex with a woman. I don't know how that works. You know? What a loss. We really lost something with Farley. He was really magic. He was creating magic on there. I haven't seen Tommy Boy or Black Sheep in quite a while. Those are both classic. You couldn't make Tommy Boy today. Like, you literally could. That was the name of the character who would fly off because of all the air quotes he was doing. Bennett Brower. Fuck, it's really funny.
The Sephora Fragrance for All event is here. Save 20% on full-size fragrances from Valentino.
You can't teach this. But he's just one of those guys that you just see, he's just funny. He just emanates funniness. Like before, without knowing anything about this character, you just look at him and it's just funny, you know? Like, look at him. You know? He doesn't even need to do anything. He's not doing anything. Classic. I remember when I was growing up, there was in the transition between the Farley and David Spade and Sandler years into the late 90s when they had Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry and a whole lot of other people, Jim Brewer. I remember they aired 2 weeks in a row. They aired the best of 94, 95 and best of 95, 96, and I taped them both, and I had them both on VHS tape. And I watched it just so many times. Yeah, I agree, one who reads. It's just you can't replicate that. There's no way to replicate that. You can't just try and do, he just has an energy. He just has an energy that it's impossible to try and pretend that you can do the same thing. Jim Brewer, that's right. I mean, I always loved Jim Brewer from SNL and from Half Baked. And he's one of these you can't say that now. And he just makes weird sounds. He's you can't just make weird sounds on stage and get paid for it now with cancel culture how it is. That's his whole act now. I was just trying to I was trying to remember the name of this film, because when we mentioned Sherry O'Terry, and the last thing I remember Sherry O'Terry doing was being in the film Southland Tales, the Richard Kelly film Southland Tales. Richard Kelly directed Donnie Darko. And I don't know if you ever. It's a really Southland Tales is like a really interesting time capsule of like the Bush era dystopian sci-fi. And it's an insane movie. It's so bizarre and weird and like hackneyed. It's very original. Certainly. It's so strange. You couldn't make Southland Tales today with cancel culture how it is. It's a really just bizarre and weird movie. I don't know if I would call it good. I don't think it's a good movie, but it's definitely interesting, and it's probably worth seeing just as like a time capsule from that era. And Sherry O'Terry is in that. She's like a group of like anarchist terrorist cells that are all like female SNL comedians. And The Rock is in it. It's actually one of The Rock's more interesting performances. The Rock is doing something super weird and bizarre in that. It's got Justin Timberlake doing a whole song and dance number to the Killers song with his face is all scarred up. It's got weird, like, metaphysical stoner dorm room, like sci-fi stuff. It's got Kevin Smith in old man makeup. Kevin Smith plays like a 90-year-old man. I can't even recall the context of that. It's a strange movie, honestly. Southland Tales. I was trying to remember it the other day, and I couldn't even remember the title because I'm getting old, and my brain doesn't absorb all this like useless info anymore. I certainly have not seen it since 2007 or 8 or whenever it came out. It's just strange. It's one of the weirdest movies you can imagine. It wasn't very big. Well, it was supposed to be big. It was supposed to be this big blockbuster, but it just didn't. It didn't really connect with audiences because it's so fucking bizarre. The Rock is good. It's probably one of his best performances, honestly. I actually miss when The Rock used to like play different characters, you know? Now he just plays the same guy in every single movie. He used to actually do characters and like do different stuff. He's capable of doing a lot more than he does. I would like him to start going back to doing that, some more interesting projects like that. He was in Be Cool, like the Get Shorty sequel, and I did something kind of interesting with that as well. He's now Safari Man. Yeah, he just he wears a muscle t-shirt in a jungle, and that's it. That's what he does. Which is why Batista is better than The Rock. Exactly. Batista's a character actor. Batista realizes that he doesn't have leading man face. And he does interesting stuff and chooses interesting projects to work with. His next project is 2024 presidential candidate. I doubt that, but I think it's within this decade. I think we'll get a Rock run next time around. Get Shorty is an absolute classic as well, and I don't even think I've ever seen all of Be Cool. Oh, I actually saw that Farflight. That's interesting. He signed on to do that A24 movie. That should be cool. I actually saw the trailer for that Iron Claw Von Erichs movie as well. That looks really good. I loved The Wrestler. The Wrestler is probably my favorite film of the 2000s. I love these devastating pro wrestling dramas. It's really a genre that has not been, with an industry with so much tragedy involved in it. It's a genre that hasn't been explored like all that much. The Rock should run for president on the platform that he would get introduced on the international stage the same way he did in his wrestling days. Yeah, he should promise to rock bottom Putin through the announce table. President Putin, sir, can you explain why you're threatened by NATO's encroachment on Russian territory? Well, you see, Mr. It doesn't matter why you think NATO's encroaching on Russian territory. As America is just dying, the American economy is just like, just in the toilet. Clamp him in that awful sharpshooter that he tries to do still. I don't know what else we're doing today other than looking at old SNL clips. I don't really have much of a plan. Again, I was kind of busy this morning, so I don't know. Should really do a dragon sleeper instead of that terrible sharpshooter. You'd think he could have just learned how to do it. Like he's a smart man. I'm sure he could have figured it out. He at some point he just purposely decided to just do it wrong just to piss people off. Well, I guess one thing we should do is watch the lobby. I think that's one thing I wanted to do. We watched the US version, and we can. I think I wanted to watch the UK version as well of the lobbies. Maybe we can do that soon after all this chit chat. I know Cinnamon Challenge wants us to keep talking about wrestling and just like random stuff that we remember. That's Cinnamon Challenge's favorite part of the entire program is when we do that. But Cinnamon Challenge, I'm sorry. We can't talk about wrestling forever, okay? As much as you want us to, we can't sit here and talking about the glory days of wrestling in 1997 or whatever. Okay, there's more important things to get to. You know, there's plenty of other content that talks about that if that's what you want. I accept this is a wrestling cult even though I was not told when I joined. Listen, I would not be where I was today without the sport of professional wrestling. I would not be where I was right now. I would not be where I am right now. I just downed half a jar of kimchi in under 2 minutes. That's nice. I think my tummy's a little upset. I think I need some kimchi. It's gonna improve my
Hey guys,
gut
it's Nick.
health. Oh, fucking ads, man. It's supposed to be a garnish. I think you can eat it like a side or just a whole meal. Yeah. Like sometimes I'll put some in my ramen or whatever as a garnish, but I often put it as a side. I think that's totally acceptable. Okay, you ready for this? Let's learn more about how the Israel lobby works. And it's been really illuminating to watch this, because you understand this whole, like, you can't criticize Israel, that's anti-Semitic. This is all this is ultimately what all this all comes down to. This is the tactic. This is the propaganda tactic. You can't criticize Israel, it's anti-Semitic. I think when you break that down, it's just so ludicrous. You know? Like, just, you can't criticize a country because it's anti that country racism, even when that country is doing objectively terrible things in full view of everyone, with a global audience, killing thousands of people, thousands of children. You can't criticize Israel. That's anti-Semitic. You can't criticize Mussolini. That's anti-Italian racism. Oh, we're gonna sit here and you're gonna normalize this kind of anti-German racism in like 1939. You know? You really have to interrogate your internalized feelings of anti-German racism. You know, it's just absurd when you apply this to any other country that you could criticize. I mean, in a way, like Saudi Arabia tried this when people criticized Saudi Arabia for their human rights crimes or their war in Yemen or whatever. They would try to do the same thing. This kind of like unfair anti-Saudi Arabian rhetoric. But it's like everyone knew that was obvious bullshit, and we were talking about these specific things that their government was doing. Like, this would not work in any other situation. It's insane. You criticize the British Empire. This anti-British racism. It is insane that Germany, that it exists today and people take it seriously. We've really failed when it comes to the fact that we just let Germany, just like after 1945, that we just let Germany go back to being Germany. Like, that's insane. I mean, I guess for a while there was East Germany, but since then, just like since the wall got torn down, especially. Really? We have really failed. We've failed ourselves. We've failed the world in allowing this to happen. Okay, so let's watch this investigation into the Israel lobby. So this is the UK version. We watched the US version. This is about the UK version. And again, we've talked as well about how this exact tactic, this manufacturing this crisis about anti-Semitism, how that was employed in the UK to destroy basically a moderate social democratic movement that had some anti-imperialist underpinnings and had a critique of Israel and a stance in support of Palestinian humanity. And it got completely decimated and destroyed by this manufactured moral panic about anti-Semitism, which we know now was total bullshit. And Dick Penderyn, a former member of the UK Labour Party, and now that Corbyn's gone, now you have Keir Starmer tailing the Conservative movement and tailing like Rishi Sunak and rolling back everything that made Corbyn's movement special or appealing to young people especially. And very well might win the next election, even though they've damaged their own credibility so much. Yeah, a lot of us went down this path, Dick Penderyn. A lot of us went down this path from like supporting these kinds of nascent social democracy, social democratic movements, entryism into these big bourgeois parties in both in the UK and in the US. And what happened to Corbyn and what happened to Bernie, I think for a lot of people that were invested in those movements were like, oh, okay, so this is not the way. This is not the way. They'll win the next election. The Conservative Party has collapsed. They'll win, but then they're going to act like conservatives. And they're going to alienate the next generation. And they're going to allow the conservatives to get up off the mat and regroup. And then they're going to assume their rightful place leading the country again. even probably more to the right than where they currently are. Did you see the Gulf states and West will patrol the Red Sea because of Houthi attacks? Yeah, I did see that. What's it? It's a really funny and stupid name for this operation. Operation Prosperity Guardian. That's amazing. And it's funny because even like the Saudis aren't even involved. Even Canada's like, oh, we get to be involved. Yay. Well, Dick Pendrin, I'm sorry if some of this is going to be triggering or traumatizing to you. But again, I think it's important to understand how the Corbyn movement got derailed. And this is something I talk about often. I don't know if you're new to the channel or not. Talk about often, though, paying attention to that movement, how a lot of people, I think even like people with good values in the UK who wanted to support Corbyn, still allowed themselves to get derailed by these accusations, by this ginned up panic about anti-Semitism, which we now know is just complete bullshit. And a lot of people were trying to be reasonable and trying to be like, oh, we love Corbyn, but we also need to take these accusations seriously, and we need to like invest time and like in trying to show people that we're serious about this and we're trying to deal with it. And as soon as people started to do that, it was over. It was over. And I think we know now, as soon as these accusations have to start happening, rather than giving it any oxygen whatsoever and showing that they can hurt you, you have to say, fuck you. You know? And Corbyn was way too nice for that. And a lot of people were way too nice, I think, too. Take this stance, but it's what you got to do. Because these accusations, when it comes to Corbyn, were never being made in good faith. You know, these were not people that were trying to like have a serious dialogue or discussion about anti-Semitism. It's just bullshit. It was all bullshit. It was always just a total scam. And Corbyn should have just purged every single one of these reactionary Blairite freaks on day one. And when they started whining and crying in the press about Stalinist purges, he just said, I'm going to purge you as well. I'm going to purge more people. The more you complain, I'm going to purge even more people. And he should have just completely, totally, utterly ignored all these nonsensical accusations and just pushed forward trying to destroy the British ruling class, and people would have backed him. Purge to get in. That's right. That's what it would have been if it was me. We purged in the hell out of people. So anyway, let's take a look at this. This is Al Jazeera, The Lobby, Part 1, Young Friends of Israel.
How Israel influences British politics. We reveal from the inside how the Israeli embassy penetrates different levels of British democracy. In the first of 4 programs, the battle for Britain's youth. Following decades of violence, a new challenge has emerged to Israel's occupation of Palestinian lands, called BDS. BDS is here to stay. That's the global movement to boycott, divest, and impose sanctions on Israel and expose it as an apartheid state. The Israeli government has responded with a campaign to rebrand the country's image.
The reason we should fight BDS is because it's wrong. It's a moral outrage.
It's an operation run by the secretive Ministry of Strategic Affairs.
They recruit mainly
they should make one for
former
Canada. If Canada was important
officers.
enough.
Its main task is to counter BDS worldwide.
Using an undercover reporter, Al Jazeera's investigative unit exposes Israel's clandestine activities in London, a city that's become a major battleground.
BDS campaign in many ways germinated in Britain.
You'll meet the people working to challenge BDS at every level of British politics.
Okay, nice to meet you. We work really closely together, but like a lot of it's behind the scenes.
One of Israel's main targets is the Labour Party. For the first time, its leader is a champion of Palestinian civil rights.
They'd be very happy to see Jeremy Corbyn no longer leader of the Labour Party, for sure.
It's a covert action that penetrates the heart
of
the
Labour files
democracy.
are very good. We watched some of them and not all of them.
It is outrageous interference in British politics. It shouldn't be permitted.
It's a battle of ideas, seeking to change not only how Israel's portrayed, but even how it is debated.
It's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. It's a trend.
We made a promise.
undercover reporter grew up in Germany and creates an identity as a graduate planning to live in Britain. Robin sets himself up in London as an aspiring Labour Party activist with strong sympathies toward Israel. After over a month of attending party functions, he stood out as a friend of Israel. And before long, he recognized a familiar face.
I'm Robin. Ah, okay, nice to meet you.
My name is Shai.
Shai?
Shai, yeah.
It's a meeting of the Labour Friends of Israel, or LFI, members of the British Parliament who lobby for Israel.
Yeah, I take the district. So...
Shai later explained to Robin the problems the LFI is facing.
Not a lot of young people want to be affiliated. Obviously, when they will become MPs, they won't be affiliated, and then that's it. Chain is done. Because for years, every MP that joined the parliament, the first thing that he used to do is going to join LFI. He's not doing it anymore in the Labour Party. CFI, they're doing it automatically. All of the 40 new MPs that just got in the last elections, all of them went to the CFI, the Total Front of Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the LFI it didn't happen, obviously. But you need to get more people on board. It's a lot of work, actually.
Robin tweeted and wrote articles about Israel and the Labour Party, building up his online identity. He discovered numerous groups that support Israel and which identify themselves as independent grassroots movements.
You can't have a
One
left
is the
movement that has
Sussex Friends
Zionists
of
in it.
Israel.
Maybe at one
They
point that
organized
might
a
have
march
been
to
like
protest against the
sustainable, but
pro-Palestinian
it
movement
should be
to
clear that it's
boycott
not
Israel.
anymore.
Robin had
It's just a
joined them.
fundamental divide. Just be conservatives. If you're a Zionist, you're
Shai
not,
later
you're not
described
really
the
liberal
embassy's role
anyways.
in
You're
some
not
of these
progressive.
movements.
There is a
Just be a
grassroots
conservative,
organization
that's what
as
we do.
Sussex Friends of Israel that you went to the demonstration. There is Israel Great
We're building a mass
Alliance,
movement
there is
without you.
There is so many.
Get on
in
board
Israel.
or fucking just join the conservatives.
Shai had helped establish a youth group within the Conservative Friends of Israel.
They have a young section of the Conservative Friends.
CFI, yeah. CFI started with it 1 year ago.
It's insane. Dick
because of
Pender, it's
my idea.
insane.
And then when I tried to do the
Always
the
every
second,
MP is a member of a Friends
they
of
had
Israel
crisis that
organization.
was Corbyn.
It is insane.
Every group
Our
represents
entire
yeah.
ruling class.
Specifically, LFI young people doesn't exist. That's the only place that there is exactly. The moment it will become to 100 people, 200 people, then it started to become a real organization. But just to take a year.
It does sound like foreign interference.
Have
You
you
can
ever
apply it
built
to any other
something like a
country.
group?
It just sounds insane.
Yeah, I did several things like that, yeah.
Okay. In
In
Israel.
Israel and here.
Here as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to join a Canadian
I don't
Friends
think
of
that
China
I can
organization.
Share, but yeah.
Something you could share.
Yeah, because there are things that happen.
I'm sure no one will have an issue with it.
It's good to leave those organizations independent, but we help them to actually
To establish.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much.
It was great.
Have a nice evening, right?
Our investigation linked the embassy's senior political officer with a series of pro-Israel groups: the Parliamentary Friends of Israel, Young Conservatives,
How is this allowed?
lobbyists, as well as grassroots movements.
It's insane.
In addition, Shai is involved with the youth arm of
And
the
we're sitting here
Fabian
talking about like
Society,
secret
an
Chinese police
influential Labour
stations and
Party think
stuff
tank.
because they teach Chinese nationals like
Shai's a good guy.
how to
He's a good friend of mine.
read and write in English or French.
When we engaged with the Israel embassy, they gave us a program that
But
was
the
very
Israel
neutral.
lobby
And, you know,
operating all these
I know
different
Shai-
various youth
I
group
met Shai in the
organizations and
process
lobbying arms. It's like, oh, that's totally okay.
Shai,
That's
you
fine.
know, in himself, he's a very balanced guy, and if you talk to the Israel embassy, they're not going to barrage you with propaganda.
It appears the Israeli diplomat's mission is to build support for Israel at all levels of the Labour Party.
And there was a lot of groups that educating the MPs. There was no one that's educating.
Like, remember all the shit with Chinese political interference?
That's it.
In Canada, the moral panic of Chinese political interference.
Everything doesn't need it.
No.
And this is just totally okay, totally normal.
Society activists.
No more than that. This is 200. This is all. This is all in London, like around 200. This is active. With campaigning, with active. I know almost all of them. I took a Fabian's group to Israel. Yeah, Martin was in that group and others.
Martin Edebar explains how foreign government support helps the Fabian membership.
Or Russian, yeah, well, Ukrainian lobbyists have infested everything.
He's got great contacts on both sides of both in Palestine and in Israel as part of his traveling experience. He's a great guy as well. He's very helpful and very supportive as well. And he's very balanced.
I went on one of the trips of
the Russian interference because of Facebook
to the Middle
memes.
East. It was brilliantly
Putin
well
paid for
arranged,
some Facebook
very well
memes.
looked after. You got fantastic access. You did meet Palestinians.
It is
all
ludicrous.
you did was rely on that one trip, you would have a very one-sided point of view.
Recently, I saw something on Facebook that like some really odd thing that the Israelis weren't giving Palestinians water or something during Ramadan. I know that's false.
According to Haaretz newspaper, Israel, which controls all water sources in the occupied West Bank, did cut supplies, even if the reason was contested.
I've been to Israel, going to the delegation, seeing what the system's actually like. I know that's false, and I know that's propaganda. But you only will understand that
Because my handler showed me around and showed how nice we
Our undercover reporter discovered that Shai Massoud played a role in another key Labor Party organization, the Jewish Labor Movement, or JLM. Robin attended a summer barbecue organized by the JLM. Much of the small talk turned to the Israeli embassy.
I gotta figure out the different browser situations so I start getting so many ads.
Oh, you know Shai?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I work with Shai.
Oh, you work with Shai?
I work for the ambassador.
At this moment, I wanted to also kind of formally welcome Ella to her new post as director. Ella was by no means the person on that pile of CVs that had the most Labour Party and political experience. But there was something that we felt on the JLM executive as trustees mattered far more, which is that she's one of you. She's seen this stuff from the inside. She's fought the campus battles alongside you, which is why we took the step of appointing Ella to this role, because we think she's going to go on and play an incredibly critical role at the lead of the struggle against anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
Hi guys, so I've been introduced. I'm Ella, I am JLM's barbecuer in chief and new director. And let's go out, let's change the Labour Party for the better, and let's hopefully influence the future of this country for the better with a progressive, strong, fair society.
What came next surprised our undercover
Progressive
reporter.
Zionists. It's an oxymoron.
Shai had asked
It's ridiculous that we allowed anyone to kind of try to make this kind of claim over the last decade. That's a failure on our part that we can't replicate. No more progressive Zionists. We've evolved beyond the need for progressive Zionists. Just join the conservatives.
So what I'm saying is that if you're a fighter and you would like to get engaged, I guess they are looking for someone that really, launch it and run it.
Yeah, seriously, this reporter deserves a fucking award just for having to sit through these boring, lame-ass parties. Seriously, it's like even more, it's more dangerous than being one of these like undercover guys in like a gang or like a organized crime or whatever it is. This guy just has to go to all these events with these like fucking weird, annoying Zionists, and that must be even more painful.
We need to try to think about, so what can
Lanyard people, that's right.
Shai then suggested that as well as setting up the young LFI, Robin apply for a job at the Israeli embassy. He was invited to a private meeting at a London hotel.
Yeah, and Dick Penryn, didn't this like get blocked from airing in the UK,
staff
or at least
and British
briefly?
supporters
Like there
of
was an
Israel.
effort to prevent this from
An
even being
Israeli
seen.
diplomat takes Robin to one side.
Just sitting around being awkward for hours. I don't even like going out to parties with people that I like. Like, you know what I mean? Imagine actually going out to hang out at all these parties with people that are just like with these people. You know, it's insane.
To work at the embassy. I don't know if it's something that might interest you.
I don't totally mean that. Sometimes I have fun hanging out with people I like, but it's just an example.
Shai talked to me about that actually, so I handed in my
I still
CV.
find those situations kind of
That's it.
awkward sometimes,
That's
so
it.
I can't imagine it being like in
We're
this
also
kind of
looking for
situation.
somebody to work on the whole BDS. He's doing research into the different BDS movements, who they are, what they are, a little bit of strategy on that whole piece. So I don't know if either of those things might appeal to you.
Ella Rose, the new director of the Jewish labor movement, was pleased to hear of Robin's plans to set up a young LFI.
I used to work at the embassy here. I can definitely help you out. And would love to come to any and every event you're hosting. Please consider me your #1 fan.
The guest of honor, a minister from the Israeli government.
I grew up on the ideology that the land of Israel totally belongs to the Jewish people, not any compromise, morally, biblically. The land of Israel belongs to the Jewish
Almost like they believe it should be Israel just from the river to the sea. A land for Jewish people only. From the river to the sea. It kind of sounds like that's the ideology they're describing.
Is to counter the BDS movement.
It is a strategic threat for the future of Israel, because if we will allow them to continue with all the lies that they are spreading against Israel, we will lose this fantastic young generation, and maybe from here there will be the next leaders of the UK or other countries, and they will think that Israel is a
That's
very
one thing
bad
is that they
country.
have lost this young generation.
During another meeting with the embassy's senior political officer, Shai tutors Robin on setting up a new pro-Israel group.
Basically, the people that affiliate with the Labour Party, they are young. How do you approach them? So first of all, I think you need something to sell, right? So theoretically, maybe LFI would agree to do a delegation to Israel. And that's always a good start. Second, maybe you need an interesting speaker. That's maybe the embassy can help, or LFI can help. If you're volunteering, to be the chairman of it, you theoretically needs to have someone that will do social media and someone that will take care of speakers or events, or someone that will be the chairman of the delegations to Israel.
Like, I'm starting to keep making this comparison. Just imagining if there was an expose like this on China, of people operating out of the Chinese embassy, cultivating assets, giving them resources to set up political groups where they invite speakers, paying for them to go on delegations to China where they see everything. Like, it's just, if that was going on and there was an expose on that, it would be this massive bombshell. Like, that is spying. That's political interference. Or any country, but I think China is the ultimate example because right now that's like the big baddie looming on the horizon. Which is also ironic as well, because this is what America does also around the world. Like, I think this is an example of what we're seeing with Israel. America does this around the world, in countries around the world, through the whole NGO complex, funding independent media, funding diasporic groups of like ethnic dissidents, And I think when people say Israelis or Zionists especially say it's anti-Semitic to exclusively focus on Israel, we shouldn't. We don't need to exclusively focus on Israel, but this is an example of a country that is just allowed basically to operate with total impunity in Canada, the UK, and the United States and around the Western world. in the exact same way that America has engaged with the rest of the world for now decades, interfering politically and cultivating assets, journalists, politicians, activists, cultivating them around the world, having big astroturfed social media campaigns. This is what America does around the world. So no, we don't need to exclusively single out Israel. This is the exact strategy. Funding independent media? No, this independent media they're watching right now is funded exclusively by the wonderful and generous listeners and viewers and chatters of the community. And that's how you know that you can trust me. And if I was being funded by any one of these groups or states, I would tell you. I would be honest about that. Okay? And if you want to support this show, by the way,
count on me. You're gonna have good
please
old
subscribe
Rob
or gift
to
a sub.
talk you
Thank you,
through all
Dick
this.
Penderin, for gifting a subscription. And it's not a pyramid scheme, and it's not a cult. And if someone, in fact, wants to gift a subscription to our friend Dick Penderin, that would be also good as well. Yeah, I mean, one day I hope to be funded by some kind of foreign state or entity, but that has not happened yet. You have one. Okay, I'm seeing unsubbed from my perspective, but I don't know. But if anyone else wants to support this show, please subscribe if you can. I want that Ben Norton bag. Absolutely, I'd be happy with to have that.
There's a responsibility somehow. They're the committee of the organization.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all
That's
this.
the way we establish
Thank you, Dick. I appreciate the 4 months of Tier 1. Thanks a lot.
organization.
Who should I contact? What do you think?
Michael.
I don't think anyone's saying that.
Michael what?
That last part, freelance communist, I don't think anyone's saying that.
Michael Rubin.
Write in that you have an idea, you want to take it forward.
What's his position in the LFI?
He's a parliamentarian officer.
Sort of recently started at LFI. I worked for the Labour Party before that. I was chair of Labour Students. I knew Shai in my role at Labour Students. We did a couple of things together. They take advantage of sunshine whilst it lasts. We talked about having a launch event, like a drinks receptions, like hiring out, like the upstairs for a pub like this, putting a little bit of money behind the bar to get people there. So we could get some of our parliamentary supporters, so people like Joan Ryan, she could come along and sort of speak, because people are trying to meet her.
Parliamentarians.
And she's in contact with Shai as well. So
Yes, yeah. We still work via Latin, we embassy quite a lot.
This is all coordinated through the embassy, cultivating
The LFI
assets,
appears to be looking beyond Labour's
cultivating
present set of
MPs,
MPs.
cultivating student activists, cultivating journalists. Like it's literally spy shit.
Yeah, good views on Israel. I think we haven't really paid much attention to those
It is the most obvious spy shit.
10, 15 years' time.
Robin tells him about the Israeli embassy's interest in recruiting him.
And there are sort of, job openings available quite frequently. So you should chat to Shai.
He gave an example of how a job at the embassy could further a career in British politics.
Ella Rose, she was president of UJS, which is the Union of Jewish Students, a couple of years ago. She works at the embassy, but she is leaving the embassy to work as the Jewish Labour movement to staff herself.
New guards came in and they sort of thought at some point, okay, we're going to hire someone to like help with stuff, and then all the anti-Semitism stuff kicked off in JLM vastly increased his profile, and they thought we should probably hire someone political.
Oh, well, the anti-Semitism stuff just kicked off.
Before that was at the embassy working with
What's the
Shai.
fallout from this? Zero.
Around about the same time,
What's the fallout from this? Zero. What's the fallout is that Labour Party, as soon as they finally got Corbyn out of there, apologized to all the people that had ginned up this fake controversy and bowed and scraped and kissed the feet of all the people that needed to bring back on board. And now it's just been fully captured by the lobby, And now they have a position on Israel that's like to the right of the current conservative prime minister. That's what happened. That was the fallout. The fallout was that we all lost and they won.
Re-emerged under the leadership of Jeremy Newmark, who would later hire Ella Rose as the director of the JLM. The big story was about a young student in Oxford who made allegations that the
Look at
Labour
this,
Party
same
and most of the
stories.
student left.
Oh, a query into anti-Semitic intimidation by Oxford students. Has we heard that before? It's the same strategy every single time. It's just, this is it. This is the one trick that they have in the book. Let's have a bunch of moral panics about anti-Semitic intimidation on campuses. Every single time Israel is in the news, especially, or if you've got a labor leader that has like criticized Israel or supported Palestinians, anytime there's an operation going on, whether there's like it's like a Gaza bombing operation, or it's something like the Great March of Return, anytime it's in the papers, BDS, whatever, we get these stories. It's this panic about anti-Semitism. And that's all it is. And that's unfortunately, we have to now train ourselves to understand that when we start seeing these kinds of allegations appearing, we know that's being done to cover up some kind of criminality.
Young student in Oxford who made allegations that the Labour Party and most of the student left at Oxford was anti-Semitic. He didn't present any evidence at all. The only thing he said was that they had promoted
A decision by the club to support Israeli Apartheid Week, which seeks to highlight Israel's ongoing settler colonial project and apartheid policies over the Palestinian people. That's it. That's it. Look at what it is. Look, have some kind of problem with Jews. That was the quote. He alleged that some members had expressed support for the Islamist group Hamas. A decision by the club to support Israeli Apartheid Week, which seeks to highlight Israel's ongoing settler colonial project and apartheid policies over the Palestinian people. That was the evidence that was used to make this accusation that there's this problem with anti-Semitism on this at the Oxford campus, which then gets in the media. You get politicians condemning it. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing every single time. It's the same trick. It's the one trick that they have. That's why we just have to start rejecting it.
the Israel Apartheid Week, which is a well-known.
We can't give this any oxygen anymore.
Campuses around the world,
or anyone in our that professes to be part of some kind of like progressive or left-wing movement that gives this any oxygen. It just can't be tolerated anymore.
At that time was Michael Rubin.
There were allegations on some of Labour Club. So I did the investigations. I was chair of Labour students. That was Labour students report. But there are some people who obviously asked some questions about it.
And like we saw with that Labour Files expose that Al Jazeera also did, the main Jewish people in the Labour Party that were being discriminated against and purged were socialist, Jewish socialist, pro-Corbyn Labour activists, like older women. They were the Jews in Labour Party that were being disrespected and ignored and abused because they supported Corbyn. Those are the main folks that were being discriminated against.
Because that was kind of a first instance of anti-Semitism.
And there was lots of media leaks and talks about how
like sweet old ladies
was being covered up.
British newspapers repeatedly ran stories of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. One of the next targets was Malia Bouattia, the newly elected leader of Britain's National Union of Students.
She described Birmingham as a Zionist outpost because it has a large Jewish society. So it's pretty bad. It's in NUS and student politics in the UK.
Look at the way the media plays along.
Anti-Israel rhetoric is pretty bad. Zionism is.
And part of the reason the media plays along is because you've got the Israel lobby operating out of the embassy, cultivating journalist assets to ensure that they play ball when these moments come up.
So far, I would say it becomes anti-Semitism.
With each year of Israel's expanding occupation, support for BDS has spread on college campuses around the world. In Britain, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict defined the 2016 election for the NUS presidency.
Israel, where it exists now, is that problematic to you?
Israel, as it behaves, is problematic to me.
You would feel it would be okay for you to say about yourself that you were anti-Zionist?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. So she's really bad, but you know Robbie Young? Have you heard of Robbie Young? Malia's NUS president, and Robbie is one of the vice presidents. He's a Labour student, and he's like really good in Israel. Like, he's been out on a trip, so he's seen Israel and sort of seen it firsthand. He's really pro-Israel. So
cultivating
there are some
assets.
people in NUS which are quite balanced and good.
Another vice president, Richard Brooks, took the unusual step of publicly claiming that Bouattia's criticisms of Israel amount to anti-Semitism.
Like, we've never had an elected leader racist. NUS's internal structures don't usually allow a vice president to go in.
Sickos.
Super president on national radio, but you've got to do what you've got to do.
When you look at what Amalia Bouattia has been saying, she says her criticisms are a political one. She talks about Zionism, not about people who are Jewish.
Yeah, I think the really important thing here, and something that the student movement needs to face up to, is that it is for Jewish students to define what anti-Semitism is. And in the run-up to a national conference, nearly 50 Union of Jewish Student Presidents of Societies made it clear that they had concerns about some of the rhetoric.
Brooks never mentioned that weeks before that interview, he'd been taken to Israel as
and
part
how
of a
many of them
delegation
have
from the
direct
Union of Jewish
contact
Students.
with the people that are affiliated with the fucking embassy?
UJS. I got taken on a trip to Israel with UJS about 2 months ago. So that I was learning loads from that. Then from there on in, felt confident enough to start talking about some of the stuff more seriously.
Yeah, you got your talking points on your little trip. On your little finance trip.
I was at a conference where she got elected. So, yeah. we were campaigning for the person running against her, obviously. We didn't want her to win. But yeah, obviously
They invented racism. They should know what is and
During
isn't
the run-up
racist.
to the
That's true.
election, Richard Brooks had held private meetings with Russell Langer, the campaign director of the Union of Jewish Students. Also attending the meetings was Michael Rubin.
When he was chair of Labour students last year, I worked with, so it was me, him and Russell from UJS. We'd have our little secret breakfast meetings where we'd plan how to get moderate people with good politics and a number of things elected to certain places or whatever. So me and him worked quite closely together last year.
After being introduced by the Israeli embassy as a young LFI volunteer, our undercover reporter explores the possibility of ousting the pro-Palestinian NUS president with the help of Richard Brooks.
So how can we get in touch with the people who are trying to oppose her? You speak to me, because I'm helping organise them. Yeah? So, okay, cool. So just drop me a line whenever you want to have a conversation, or if you want to speak to someone in a certain geographical area, I'll point you to the right people.
I wonder what this guy's up to now, too.
Our investigation also revealed that the Union of Jewish Students, who sent critics of Malia Bouattia on
Probably has
trips
a
to Israel, has
higher up
received money
spot.
from the Israeli embassy.
The Israeli embassy in the UK gives money to the Union of Jewish Students. If you're involved in like the Union of Jewish Students, they then connect you. Union of Israeli Students.
Let's see that again. The Israeli embassy in the UK gives money to the Union of Jewish Students. Once you're involved in the Union of Jewish Students, they then connect you.
Work for the embassy for a bit. It's my first job. It's a good
Insane.
to do for like a year.
How the fuck is this allowed? And then they say, so the embassy gives money to these student groups.
In 2016,
these student groups
Shapira
say,
launched
we're very concerned about anti-Semitism once they get their talking points from their little finance trips that they go on. And then all of the media says, like, look at all these Jewish student groups that are saying all this, making these accusations about anti-Semitism. It is just ludicrous that this is allowed. And that when the media talks about it, none of this is disclosed. But you're right, Dick. Of course, you're doing political organizing, you're having meetings, yes. But I think when you're having meetings, when you're talking about the way that these groups operate and the way that they get funding and financing and material support from other states in order to perform advocacy without disclosing these links, that is, I think, worthwhile to talk about. Like no one on the left that's we're still not getting any financing from any foreign entities. If we are, I would love to know about it. Israel paying off people as anti-Semitic conspiracy, but they also 100% do that. I mean, that's like Ilhan Omar a couple years ago talked about the influence that the Israel lobby has on U.S. politics, and because they throw around a lot of money. And there was a big manufactured panic about her being an anti-Semite as a result of this objectively true
you can
statement.
count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Plunger Man, for the gifted sub to One Who Reads. Plunger Man, a.k.a. Vladimir Putin. Well, and that's what I was saying before, Heroic Skeleton. Like what we're seeing right now, we don't need to single out Israel. We're seeing a strategy that the U.S. uses around the world to influence politics around the world. It's just you see Israel using these exact same tactics, basically, that the U.S. uses around the world in order to influence politics, and are basically allowed to operate like that with total impunity in Canada and the U.S. and the U.K. and around the Western world. And that, I think, is the insane thing.
An unsuccessful bid for the presidency of the Union of Jewish Students. He also received donations from Israel to set up a new campus-based think tank. He established the Pinsker Center with former University College student Elliot Miller.
Spent a year working in the government in Israel. I was doing a fellowship in the Foreign Ministry, the Congressional Affairs Department, so all Congress, as far as APAC and stuff. The guy behind me is in Israel. He's the kind of guy who can walk into a room with a donor and the donor will give them a check for 2.5k, stuff like that. He's a genius.
They also confirmed for the first time that the powerful American pro-Israel lobby, AIPAC, is channeling money to British campuses through the Pinsker Center.
I think AIPAC gave some money.
We went to AIPAC in March and we got involved with AIPAC London.
Elliot Miller remains vocal in the cauldron of London student politics.
Same strategy, the pink washing. Women's rights and gay rights are used to demonize Palestinian protests. It's way more insufferable with the British accents, it's true. It's a violent religion, says this guy that defends Israel.
In episode 2, further evidence of Israel's involvement in Britain's Labour Party.
We work really closely together. But like a lot of it's behind the scenes.
And the money Israel gives Labour MPs to help improve its image.
It's more than £1 million. It's a lot of money.
We're going to look at part 2. We got a little bit of time left to go. We're going to look at part 2. Remember though, folks, I'm not getting paid by any state actors or any nefarious lobby groups that I know of. Maybe some of you are affiliated with these groups, but if you are, I don't know about it, and I don't want to know anything about it. As far as I know, I'm not being paid or financed by Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, or any of these groups, as far as I know. All I have is you, the viewer, the listener, the chatter. That's all I've got. We're all collectively cultivating you as an asset together. Well, thank you. I'm at 4 out of 35 subs for the day. As you know, the only way that I'm able to do this show every day is if I make the little number go up, if I make the line go up.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob
The
to
line must
talk you
go
through
up.
all this.
Don't ask me to explain it.
This message is paid by Russia, China, DPRK and Nicaragua, not the chatter and listener.
Thanks for 8 months of Tier 1 Duck, not Strange. And whatever other nefarious state actors are financing that. It's the least efficient spy effort ever. 100 chatters to convince one guy to do what we want him to do. No one here are assets of the Ministry of State Security for the CPC that we know of. It would not be an efficient way of doing things, anyways. But if you can, folks, please subscribe. Marty got me to lick an egg. That's right. If you can, please subscribe. It's $5 a month. It's totally free of charge with an Amazon Prime account. You can gift subs. You can subscribe on Patreon. You can give tips. Every little bit helps. Only 30 subs to go, so it's within reach. If you can, please subscribe to TRRS. Prankster, I think this is my official New Year's resolution this year, is actually to get the Rousseau Institute off the ground officially. I think this is my goal. I don't really know what a think tank is, really. It started as kind of a joke, so I'm going to have to learn that, I think. I'm going to have to figure out what that actually means. What is it? We're going to put out policy papers. We're going to have meetings. What else do you have to do? What else do you do when you have a think tank? It's like an isolation tank, but you think. Exactly. We just lock ourselves in this chamber. We write papers and have conferences. How's the Goon Cave doing? It's not a Goon Cave. No, we're getting the Rousseau Institute for Western Destabilization off the ground this year, okay? This is my pledge to you. It's going to be a real thing this year with a website. We'll put out some papers. I'm going to try to appeal to media in this country to get me to come on as a talking head. It's Rob Rousseau. I'm not just Rob Rousseau, dipshit Twitch streamer. I'm Rob Rousseau, chairman of the Rousseau Institute for Western Destabilization. And they're going to say, surely that's a provocative title, right? It's not actually, they're not actually trying to destabilize it. And it's going to be oh, no, I am. Yeah. Yep. That's me. We're going to get it off the ground. All right. I would that's one thing I wanted to do, Marty, and maybe that can be part of this project, but starting to do some transcripts of my old interview with Abby Martin from 2018 or something. I've been thinking about doing that because there's decent AI transcription services now that can do that pretty easily. No, it's not dipshit streamer. It's Rob Rousseau, dipshit president of the RIWD. That's right. Anyway, we're going to get it going. We're going to get it going this year. Maybe then I can get some official state sponsorship. We'll see how it goes. But if you can, for now, please subscribe until I get those big money briefcases full of ruples or whatever it is. Until that day comes, I need to rely on you. So if you can, please subscribe, folks.
Previously, Al Jazeera sent an undercover reporter to expose how the Israel lobby works in Britain.
We still work the embassy quite a lot.
How the embassy is backing pro-Israel youth groups.
The Israeli embassy in the UK gives money to the Union of Jewish Students.
At the center of events is the Israeli embassy's senior political officer.
It's good to leave those organizations.
I think if we didn't, the Rousseau Institute is a fun gag. If we didn't want to go that route, though, the Bethune Institute would be kind of nice, but it couldn't be for Western destabilization, though. Anyway, we're going to workshop all this. I kind of think it has to be the Rousseau Institute just because that's so insane. But
to establish. Yeah.
In part 2 of The Lobby, our undercover reporter gains even greater access within Britain's pro-Israel community. And along the way, Robin is groomed for a most unexpected mission. Following decades of violence, a new challenge has emerged to Israel's occupation of Palestinian lands, called BDS.
BDS is here to stay.
That's the global movement to boycott, divest, and impose sanctions on Israel and expose it as an apartheid state. The Israeli government has responded with a campaign to rebrand the country's image.
The reason we should fight BDS is because it's wrong. It's a moral outrage.
It's an operation run by the secretive ministry.
The Institute for the Study of Western Destabilization. See, that sounds way more like mainstream and like legitimate. But I kind of think it has to be the Rousseau Institute for Western Destabilization because it's so provocative. It's so provocative. It's going to scare people and piss them off. I think that's the direction it has to go. This isn't your granddaddy's think tank, okay? All we want is the whole world.
Of Strategic Affairs.
They recruit mainly former intelligence officers. Its main task is to counter BDS worldwide.
Using an undercover reporter, Al Jazeera's investigative unit exposes Israel's clandestine activities in London, a city that's become a major battleground.
Well, that's it, regime bill, because then you take it away. I think these people are trying to destabilize the West, and you have to say, no. But it's like,
you'll
if you
meet
just
the people
admit
working
that
to
right
challenge
off the bat,
BDS at every level of British politics.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
We work really closely together, but like a lot of it's behind the scenes.
One of Israel's main targets is the Labour Party. For the first time, its leader is a champion of Palestinian civil rights.
They'd be very happy to see Jeremy Corbyn no longer leader of the Labour Party, for sure.
It's a covert action that penetrates the heart of Britain's democracy.
Can I give you some MPs that we suggest you will take down?
It is outrageous interference in British politics. It shouldn't be permitted.
It's a battle of ideas seeking to change not
Doesn't
only
have
how
a
Israel is
marketplace of ideas.
portrayed,
It is a
but
central
even
committee
how
of
it is
correct
debated.
thinking. I like that. That's good.
It's a trend.
I like that a lot, actually. I'm keeping that.
Our undercover reporter has held meetings with the senior political officer of the Israeli embassy in London. Shai Massoud wants Robin to help set up a new youth movement allied to Britain's Labour Party. It will soon be time for the party's annual conference, and he's keen that Robin attends.
So we are going to be there a huge group. From the embassy, we're going to be like about 5 people. And they're going to be an MK from Israel and 8 young labor from Israel.
He suggests Robin liaise with the heads of other pro-Israel movements.
So Luke Erkas is the director of We Believe in Israel. He's a great guy.
So you know him?
Of course. So Luke is a great guy. Of course, I know. He's a great friend. We Believe in Israel is sitting together in the offices of but it's not the same organization. He's a great campaigner. He's one of the best in the inside. In all the party. Seriously, there's not a lot of people like him. And Luke asked him if he's keen to.
Can I mention your name towards Luke?
Yeah.
Shai also suggests that Robin contact Michael Rubin to take forward the idea of attracting pro-Israel young people to labor.
Drop to Michael an email. And so I'm keen to do that. I just need your umbrella. And then you need a business card. That's it.
Can I claim that I have your support?
You can tell that I suggested to contact him, but not my support because LFI is an independent organization. No one likes that someone is managing his organization.
Who knew that with enough capital you could infiltrate all corners of capitalist governments? No one saw that coming, which is hilarious because like part of their capital that they have is coming directly from the governments that they're influencing. It's like governments are paying them to spy on themselves. It's fucking insane, and that speaks to how these Western countries need Israel to exist in its current form in that state for totally political reasons, to maintain Western hegemony in that region. So it's like they pay for their own lobbying arm to influence themselves. Thank you, Dick Penderin. Thanks for hanging out today.
It's the first rule in politics.
The embassy helps us quite a lot. You know, when bad news stories come out about Israel, the embassy sends us information so we can sort of counter it, getting it directly from a horse's mouth, as it were. It's quite helpful. We work really closely together. But like, a lot of it's behind the scenes. We've got to be careful because, I think there's.
I wonder if these guys are all still in the party.
To be involved in a young LFI, we wouldn't necessarily be happy if it was seen as an embassy thing. So I think Shy helping with background, yes. So I think definitely keeping Shy up to date and letting him know what we're doing. I think we just have to be careful for it not to be seen as a young Israeli embassy, like we want it to be distinct.
Oh, yeah, you want to pretend that it's distinct. Make sure you keep this official state representative from the embassy in the loop on everything that you're doing. That's normal. You have to pretend that it's separate from the embassy. We don't want anyone asking any questions about that.
Because ultimately we've got the same end goal of getting more people to be pro-Israel and understand the conflict. So it's just how you do it.
It's time for members of the Labour Party to travel to their annual conference in Liverpool. Robin sits with the Israeli delegation. Shai announces plans to establish another organization in Britain, this time with links to AIPAC, America's powerful pro-Israel lobby.
I'm arranging so we're establishing a new group. It's called the City Friends of Israel. And basically we're doing like a small lunch with a congressman from America. I'm doing it with AIPAC.
Our investigation has already established this Israeli diplomat's links to numerous political groups in Britain, including the parliamentary lobby group, the Labour Friends of Israel, or LFI. At the conference, Shai introduces our undercover reporter to LFI members at their stall.
Hi, nice to meet you.
The Israeli diplomat advises the chair of the LFI about Robin's new role within her organization.
So you just met.
Yeah.
Robin is a volunteering to LFI as well. Oh, yeah? And he's doing trying to get the young people. Excellent. He's trying to arrange another investigation, maybe.
Like Corbyn should have purged this lady. You're out of the party. You're gone.
They discuss paying for influential MPs to take a government-run tour of Israel.
You're in the Labour Party and you're chair of Labour Friends of Israel. Gone.
And just now got the money. It's more than £1 million. It's a lot of money. And then and now I got the money. So from Israel. So it's not physical. Yeah, it's improvement. And then and now
you had it in your bag.
The government of Israel has already budget allocated to various ministries which can use it as they like to bring foreign delegations to Israel. It's part of the information campaign, you may call it propaganda campaign.
The deputy Israeli ambassador to the UK arrives at the stall and is introduced to our undercover reporter.
This is Robin. He's volunteering now in the LFI to bring young people to do young LFI.
And he's a young baby as well.
And young Fabian as well.
I hope that doesn't mean you're getting rid of us old ones.
Oh, no, it's not old baby. Would you like? Oh, sorry.
Shai networked with pro-Israel labor activists. He offered assistance to the Jewish Leadership Council, an influential umbrella group of Jewish organizations in Britain.
And he told me that there is a couple of things that you asked us to arrange. So they wrote to, so I did to them a draft schedule.
My understanding is it was just more of an offer from us to them to help facilitate anything they need with some suggestions of what to do. But I don't know anything more than that at this point.
This does look very awful.
They basically said, Shai, do whatever you want to do.
That's good.
And I love when people tell you that.
While in Liverpool, Shai's confidence
And like
in
they're
Robin
all there
grows.
at the Labour Party
The Israeli
conference,
diplomat
plotting
even goes
with
so far as
agents
to
of another
introduce him
country
as the
to
chairman of the Young Labour Friends of
undermine
Israel.
and overthrow the leader of the party that they're ostensibly a part of.
Now the LFI part of the youngsters. Yeah, good. And Shai.
And like like we were saying, doing political organizing, doing coups in your party, undermining the leadership. There's nothing inherently wrong about that. But when it's being coordinated and funded and materially supported by
Robin learns that
another country,
pro-Israel
that's
activists
where
are
it becomes
planning
a
to
little bit
attend
more
a meeting
problematic.
organized by the
Another
Labour
country
Friends
that's
of
trying to
Palestine in the
whitewash
Middle
its
East,
own
the LFP-ME.
just rampant criminality and violence.
On the way, he spots
That's when
Luke
it becomes
Akehurst,
really
the
sinister.
prominent pro-Israel
There's nothing
operative
wrong
within
with
Labour, who Shai had
organizing
told
in a
Robin
political
to
context
contact.
to undermine the leadership if you don't like them for personal reasons. These people are being paid, though, to not like them. They're being materially organized and supported by another country.
Progress now. We have the first signing up, 22 people on the mailing list. Yeah, excellent. Are you going to any events?
To the LFPME thing? Yes, I am, yeah, because I need to take notes on that.
Oh, you're going to write something now?
No, just for internal for my
It becomes clear that as well as Akehurst, other pro-Israel activists will be discreetly recording the event.
There's the Labour Friends of Palestine, East 1 and 230, which I'll be going to, so I need to charge my phone up so I can get some more recordings.
Ahead of the Palestine event, one member of the Israeli delegation contemplates wearing a T-shirt promoting Israel.
It's great. She's dying for some action. Yes, it's good.
I wouldn't if I were you.
You wouldn't if you were me.
Well, I mean, Akehurst is going to write a report anyway.
These are our spies.
Oh, right.
Which is why you can't wear that
These are our spies. They're admitting it.
Yeah, when people shout at you.
Well, you know, I was an intelligence officer, so...
I was an intelligence officer, you say, for 4 years.
I can get the intel for you, no worries.
While the Palestine event passed without incident, controversy did follow a private training session organized by the Jewish labor movement.
My name's Mike Katz. I'm one of the White National Vice Chairs of the Jewish Labour Movement.
Mike Katz works under Jeremy Newmark, the chairman of the Jewish labor movement. Newmark recently appointed Ella Rose as the JLM's new director.
Today's session is confronting anti-Semitism and engaging Jewish voters.
The training session was arranged following allegations of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. It became a highly publicized matter for Jeremy Corbyn after an incident involving the former mayor of London.
A Nazi apologist. A Nazi apologist. You're a disgusting Nazi apologist, Livingstone.
A barrister, Shami Chakrabarti, launched an inquiry and concluded that despite an occasionally toxic atmosphere, anti-Semitism was not endemic within the party.
Anti-Semitism as a phenomenon across the world. Here's some examples. 1992, Buenos Aires, Israeli embassy, 29 killed, 242 injured. 2012, a student school attack, 4 killed. Obviously, 2014, shortly after the awful attack in the commercial supermarket in Paris.
The private JLM training session was about to have very public consequences for one attendee.
At the start, it seemed relatively relaxed. It was simply a training session. And I think some of us had gone along there with the idea that it was kind of strange because in some ways this was going against what Shami Chakrabarti had actually advised. So we wanted to see what was going on.
The CSC, the Community Security Trust, they recorded 557 anti-Semitic incidents across the UK in the first 6 months of 2016.
557. What are these incidents? We know that this definition of anti-Semitism that includes criticism of Israel is included in these incidents.
2014 was the most anti-Semitic year on record.
2014, the most anti-Semitic year on record. I think there was maybe some years that previously that were more anti-Semitic, actually.
Now going on that list, my MP actually sent a letter to Jeremy Corbyn
and being to borrow money from the Malian landscape because I was an example of anti-Semitism, because his office enjoyed through my Facebook page and found an article that I'd shared by Norman Finkelstein.
Finkelstein wrote, in what many considered a humorous post, that one way to deal with the occupation of Palestinian land was to move Israel to the United States.
In the past, anti-Semitism was hating Jews for being Jews. Now Israel tries to extend it to say that this is any criticism about what Jews are doing is also anti-Semitism. If you question the right of Israel to be a Jewish state, then you are not different from these classical anti-Semites.
This goes back to the training session. They do this by saying most Jews relate to Israel as being an important part of their identity.
What you need to do is recognise that.
And there's been a decades-long project to convince people that have no connection to Israel that that's the case.
Therefore, if you attack Israel, you are attacking their identity.
You've got to create a welcome space that is fair. I think you need to be careful with your language, about your references to the Holocaust, and what you might say to actually delegitimise that right of Israel, that basic right of Israel as a country to exist. That is not appropriate. Zionism, Zion, not a term of use, and it's in any Labour Party appropriate.
You're not allowed to talk about this
Zionism
very
is the
specific
political
tradition.
ideology that Israel has the right to exist as an exclusively Jewish homeland in historic Palestine.
No, it doesn't have the right to exist in that way.
And I don't agree with the concept of the Jewish state because it gives me the right to live in Israel, whereas a Palestinian who's been displaced, well, that's the right for me. So if we just think that's not appropriate, are you really saying it's not appropriate for us to have a political discussion?
The Jews of Europe had the right to look for a safe haven. There's no doubt about it. When they were persecuted by anti-Semitic governments and movements,
and I agree with that too.
The Jews had to save themselves when this anti-Semitism has turned into the Nazi
in this historic land that's been
machine of
lived where people from
genocide.
Different Abrahamic
The
religions have
question
lived
is,
for centuries,
do
where there was already
people who
millions of people
were persecuted
living.
in Europe
I think
have
was
the
not
right
the place to do that.
to
probably.
displace people of another place. Can the abused become an abuser?
You are saying effectively that Zionism, is not open to debate as a concept, then that is really worrying. Anti-Semitism, like any form of racism, is deplorable. And my feeling about how to tackle this is for Jews to be standing boldly and squarely alongside our black comrades, our Muslim comrades, who are much more at the moment the target of racism.
Yeah, which is what Susan Sarandon said the other day, who got fired from their agency afterwards.
As well as our undercover reporter, someone else was secretly recording the debate.
Where she said she's these
because,
totally reasonable points.
By the time the row actually broke
Everything
out,
she said
I
was
on my
completely
way home.
factual and
I mean,
totally
none of us
reasonable.
thought anything about this training session. I was in the car, and suddenly I started to get these tweets.
And then it turns into this big
me.
scandal.
And these phone
And
calls
that's why you can't give
from
this
the
oxygen.
BBC.
A secretly recorded clip was leaked to a news outlet.
What was
Heckling.
actually leaked were
Oh, she's
certain
heckling.
little segments
That's
that
disgusting.
would be as controversial
That is
as
disgusting.
possible.
On Chancellor's Holocaust Day, I would also like to say, wouldn't it be wonderful if Holocaust Day was open to all people who've experienced Holocaust? And if the Jews...
As soon as I spoke, if you like, there was a ripple in the room. And I was just constantly interrupted.
Well, actually, in practice, it's not actually circulated and advertised.
This whole weaponization of the Holocaust, too, is just ahistorical in and of itself.
I'm not just Jewish, I am black. And my ancestry is of African enslavement. Only this year, I spoke at Slavery Remembrance Day, and I spoke to a crowd in Trafalgar Square about the African Holocaust, and that is what we call it. You can disagree with me as to whether I should call that a Holocaust, but it's not anti-Semitic for me to call what happened to African people in the diaspora a Holocaust.
I was seeking for information, and I still haven't heard a definition of anti-Semitism that I can work with.
How it was reported and how it was tweeted was I was basically saying, I can't find anywhere a definition of anti-Semitism to work with. That's total nonsense. I'm an anti-racist trainer. I've been an anti-racist trainer for 40 years.
So is Jeremy Corbyn
I've been
as
fighting
well.
fascists and anti-Semites on the streets for decades.
The incident caused uproar in the British media. The Board of Deputies of British Jews
And that's
called
the thing,
Walker an
Corbyn needed to
unapologetic
back
Jew
these
baiter.
people.
Walker was suspended from the Labour Party pending an investigation.
Corbyn needed to back these people fully.
Shortly afterwards, Robin meets the embassy's senior political officer.
What do you think of that woman, Jackie Walker?
Yeah, she's.
Thank you, Lee.
What can we do?
Thanks for joining our
Do not let it go.
And report every time she...
Not just all the party.
Yeah.
Do not let it go. That's
In recent
Corbyn
years,
was too willing
there is
to
a
throw
growing
these,
tendency
to
within
sacrifice
the
these people to show that he was
to
serious.
smear people who are anti-Israeli or anti-Zionist also to be anti-Semite. But not all anti-Israelis and anti-Zionists are anti-Semite. On the contrary. If they accuse anybody of anti-Semitism, it's basically as bad as kind of accusing somebody of being a paedophile or a murderer, you know, and it's really hard to come back from that.
All right, have a good day.
Meanwhile, our undercover reporter
It's
spots
really
Ella
sick.
Rose
This
across
was
the road.
This was like a mild social democratic movement to maybe like reclaim some of the ways that like people's future, especially young people, their future has been totally stolen from them, and maybe go back to redistributing some of that income, nationalizing a few resources, investing in infrastructure. It's a mild, boring, totally respectable social democratic movement to have a slightly less cruel government. And this is how they fucking acted. This is how they treated it. They treated it as if it's like with pure, like they were white blood cells attacking like a tumor forming for this sweet old grandpa, basically, who had campaigned alongside other activists like that, had been campaigning against racism for his whole life and framing him and his supporters like they were terrorism supporters and fucking racists and Nazis. It's absolutely just shameful. It still just makes my blood boil thinking about it.
News had broken of Ella's former job at the Israeli embassy, which had not been widely known. She's in tears because of what she considers anti-Semitic harassment.
You're right.
It's been a tough week.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Essentially, Electronic Intifada released that I worked at the embassy before JLM, and Jackie Wolf has been slamming me online all week, and I just had to stand in front of her. It was really hard.
Oh, people were making fun of me online.
It's over.
Do you know how many people make fun of me online, lady? Fucking thousands.
You. The anti-Semite lot of them.
You're an anti-Rabbite when you say mean things to me online.
When our undercover reporter next...
You're an anti-Rabbite. The people that are mean to me and say mean and hurtful things to me. We need to tamp down on this rampant, out of control anti-Robbism. When people say like you're Canadian and why are you talking about this? It's basically it's hate speech is what it is.
Next met Ella, she had regained her composure.
Saw Jackie Walker on Saturday and thought, you know what, I can take her. She's like
Please stop
That's why I
anti-Robbism.
take Jackie Walker.
If you see something, say something. If you fail to subscribe to this channel, you're an anti-Rabbite.
Yeah, I'm not bad. If it came to it, I would win. That's all I really care about.
My gosh. Well, that says it all. I mean, I don't even speak about people like that in that way, that you would take somebody out. And she's speaking about another Jewish Labour member in this way. I think that's breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. I'm just stunned.
The report that Ella worked at the Israeli embassy had appeared in the Electronic Intifada, a pro-Palestinian news website.
They must have been happy there that they...
Ella Rose had been
I should get Asa
working for a
Winstanley on
year
the show.
at the Israeli embassy in London, something that wasn't widely known at all, that had been, as far as I could ascertain, had been essentially covered up.
Asa Winstanley! He was the one that wrote the douchey things about me.
The douchey things about me,
They know
saying
they can't
factual
win when the
things
debates are
about
open, so
how
they
you worked in the embassy of a foreign country that you're working for. The douchey things.
Have to do these things behind closed doors. So when I'm outing her as an officer at the Israeli embassy and she didn't want that to be publicly known, yeah, she's not going to like that. She's going to lash out.
Look, at the end of the day, these people are sad tossers. Completely pathetic. And leave them in their corner where they belong. I'm very over them and their existence.
You seem like you're
as
over
far
it.
as I'm concerned, they can go down a hole.
You seem like you're very over it.
She's
yeah.
worked for the Israeli state. The Israeli state talks about a war against organizations like us. It is a threatening thing to hear about, absolutely.
What we need to have is some investigation of this from the Labour Party, and I will be making a formal complaint against both Ella Rose and the Jewish Labour movement.
Happens. People are going to hate me no matter what, and they're always going to find something. It was all very anti-Semitic.
They're always going to find something like that. I used to work. It was all very anti-Semitic, she says. They're always going to find something to hate me over, like the fact that I used to work for the Israeli lobby, the Israeli embassy, without disclosing that. They're always going to dig up some kind of dirt like that. Do not publish in the newspapers that I got angry.
I'm a Zionist, shaping.
Hate speech is when you disclose where someone worked. Yeah, exactly. Well, especially when it's relevant. It's a relevant detail considering the advocacy that she does and the commentary that she does. Like, no one cares if you used to work at a fucking restaurant. I don't care. Work wherever you want. But it's probably pretty relevant when you're engaging in that kind of advocacy and lobbying, basically, when you're formerly employed by another country in their embassy. They're going to pick through the many, many hateful things I've done to find some excuse to hate me. That's right. And I think these are important to watch. They're giving us the tools that we need to understand the way this kind of the way this shit all works, the way all this advocacy works and this lobbying works and how nefarious it is. But God, it's painful to watch though. Look, just because Israel gives me a bunch of money and tells me what to do doesn't mean I'm an Israeli agent. I think that's what she might as well be saying. It really irritates me. This is why people are so cynical about any form of advocacy anymore, because that language has been weaponized by these absolute pieces of shit. For sure. I mean, it's one of the most sinister things, the way that they've weaponized not just like anti-Semitism, but the whole like liberal progressive like language. Like it's been completely inverted and weaponized in this way to like support the settler colonialism and the kind of worst forms of his like Islamophobic racism and violence. And this liberal academic kind of progressive inclusive language is used to justify this. And then, which of course turns people off to this very idea of being anti-racist. Because they connect it to this. which is a crime in and of itself. Oh. I regret to inform you that I'm getting the 3 p.m. sleepies. I regret to inform you, and I have about another 30 minutes to go. So we'll have to put a pin in the lobby for today. We can do more of that tomorrow, though. Liberals don't adopt that shit without the intent to soften criminal acts. Yeah, and I mean that's what I mean. It's like Israel's an example of all this stuff, and we need to be talking about Israel because of the kind of crimes they're committing right now. But as always, we don't need to single them out. Like I was talking about this whole stuff with the Israeli lobby. It's exactly what the United States, how they engage with the rest of the world, and how they like cultivate assets and cultivate support in other countries around the world. And like it goes back to what we were saying with like the Biden administration and trying to differentiate themselves from Trump, where you have Trump's comments about immigrants, his really like blood and soil sort of anti-immigrant rhetoric, which is disgusting and horrible. But then you have the Biden administration using softer rhetoric or using liberal or progressive language while enacting all the exact same policies. You know? It's just it shows how completely hollow liberals are when they use this kind of language. How do we get this level of think tank money? That I don't know. I'm not sure. Time for siesta maxing. Time to get nap pilled. Honk shoe arc. I never am able to take naps though because of parenting stuff. The Democratic governor of Arizona just sent troops to the border. Yeah, and I'm sure that Democratic governor of Arizona is being framed as like a pro immigrant open borders Marxist by the conservative media in the area. And I'm sure he's going to have some conservative challenger that's going to claim that he like wants to have open borders and give free houses to every immigrant that comes into the country. Same idea as corporate wokeism. The ideas expressed are still very important, but the co-opting of the message by one arm of the machine that's causing the issue creates this hollow, negative political space for conservative culture war shit. Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Maggot. Absolutely. So, folks, I'll remind people again about that. I'm addicted to saying it like that. I think when I do our live show on January 11th, I'm going to do a segment on about that. But as you know, I have to go in about 30 minutes is like my hard cutoff here. I am at 5 out of 35 subs today. So if you can, folks, please subscribe to the show. Every subscription helps me keep this show on the air. It's the only way that I'm able to do this show each and every day is through the support of the community. If you can, please subscribe. We're at measly 30 subs to go. We've got Sam's, aka Fonzonzons, on the sub leaderboard for this month so far with 16. We got Kijiji Genie second place with 14. We got Comrade Social Distancing, aka Diego, with 13. So we could see someone overtake one of these leaderboard positions. Think about the clout you're going to get from that. Think about the exposure that you're going to get. A boot zoot. I mean, it's make it even more.
You can count on me. Yeah. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this. You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Just rename the Rousseau Institute the Rousseau Institute for 1776 American Democracy, Freedom, Equal, Liberty. Get all the right-wing think tank money. Yeah. It's frustrating how they have if you're a right-wing dipshit, you have just unlimited sources of income. It's really just the easiest career to have if you're just to be a right-wing dipshit. But you have to be either stupid or evil or both. Thanks so much, Eigenbad, for the gifted sub, and thanks, Plungerman, as well, for another gifted sub. Really appreciate that. Thank you to you both. And now, a mere 32, no, 30, 20, 28. That was a test. That was a test for you, and you passed. A mere measly 28 subs to go, so should be no problem. I'm genuinely envious of how well the Republicans treat their younger members. Anyone under the age of 70 gets no purchase in the Democratic Party. Because they're so surprised when any one young person actually supports their ideas. They're like, we got to cultivate this. We got to cultivate this. I can't believe someone's big of a nerd loser that actually support our completely indefensible reactionary political project. And meanwhile, the Democrats have young activists like banging down their doors because they actually care about these progressive policies. And they're just like, shut up. Shut up. Don't tell us what to do. We'll tell you what to do. That's how they act. It's like your grandpa finding out he has something in common with his 12-year-old grandkid. He's just so excited. Exactly. We have something to talk about. I remember thinking if I wanted a guaranteed income, I should say conservative talking points. You just never have to work a day again. It's just like there's a whole make work program for conservative dipshits. Oh. I'm fucking dying here, folks. Oh my goodness. My grandpa wanted to get me into fishing. I was never a big fisher either over here. So a mere 28 subs to go, folks. Should be no problem. So please, if you can't subscribe to TRRS, should we watch the video? Surely that'll get some subscriptions going. Surely that'll get the subs rolling. As you know, folks, I must make the number go up every single day. Every single day I must do this.
Thank you for expressing interest in the Friendship Triangle community. We would be thrilled to have you on board as a member of our exclusive platform. As you may know, the Friendship Triangle is Twitch's only two-dimensional, triangle-shaped, friendship access and trickle-down clout tiered reward system. Today you have an amazing opportunity to join the base level of the Friendship Triangle system. Once you are part of the community, you'll have the ability to rise through the ranks and achieve higher levels of access and rewards. One way to do this is by gifting subscriptions to your fellow members or by inviting your friends and family members to join our community. As you ascend the tiers, you will be exposed to a range of new and exciting benefits, such as exclusive content, advanced features, and access to our elite community members. We are confident that you will enjoy all the perks that come with being part of the Friendship Triangle. However, we also want to remind you that not all friends and family members are to be trusted, especially those who may not support your new lifestyle. That's why we encourage you to focus on building meaningful relationships within our community, where you will find like-minded individuals who share your interests and values. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. We are always here to support our members and ensure that your experience with the Friendship Triangle is enjoyable. We're glad that you are considering joining the Friendship Triangle community. We look forward to seeing you rise through the chaos zone and all the way into the elite tier. It's not a cult.
Love that Stalin grandpa. So what do you say, friends? What do you say, Amir? We've made a bunch of progress, and now it's only a measly 28 subs to go after the progress of the last few minutes. Remember, it's the only way, gang, that I'm able to do this show every day is if I make the little number at the bottom of the screen go up. It's the only way I'm able to do it. If you can, please subscribe to this program.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I'm probably making everyone else yawn. Norm, thanks for the gifted sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And now only 27 to go.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Navi of Destiny, thanks for the 9 months tier 1. Love the
You can count on me.
Well.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Stream Baby from Navi of Destiny. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And thanks Dr. Maggot as well for another gifted sub. Thanks Dr. Maggot. Look at that. Only 25 to go. Easy. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And remember, if you gift 10 subscriptions, it plays a super cool and elite and rarely seen alert. And if you give 20, and I'm not telling you what to do, I know that's a big investment. If you do give 20 subs, it does play the ultimate elite exclusive alert, which is really cool. I wonder if my neighbors walk by sometimes and hear me talking about this stuff. This kind of sounds like this guy's in a cult. Dr. Maggot is a real doctor, actually. He's my doctor. I can't get a family doctor anymore in Quebec, so it's Dr. Maggot. Is my go-to. For all my medical needs. That's when you just hit him with the patented, not a cult. Exactly. Exactly. Headline from the Military Times. Some men are having plastic surgery to get chiseled G.I. Joe jawlines. Your think tank needs these types of articles. I would not that specific article because I already have a chiseled jawline, as you can see. Not only am I a physician, I'm a doctor of genetics. Lovely. Very, very nice. You think maybe I should wrap another present? Did I wrap another present on cam? Can Dr. Maggot give us G.I. Joe defined jawlines like Rob's? I believe so, yes. I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I believe Dr. Maggot will give you a good price on a chiseled jawline. The jaw is now the Rob jaw. I'm going to do it, I think. I'm going to do it. 1 sec. have one of these. Remember these? Put it on the hoops. Kind of very evilly looks like a Nintendo Switch, which it is not. It's a little water game where you put rings on hoops. You know, probably something else that I should remind people. Not only do I need people to subscribe to this program in order to like keep it on the air, but it's also, I got a birthday coming up and Christmas coming up, and I gotta get presents for a little 8-year-old guy. And frankly, when you don't subscribe to this channel, not only does it make it more difficult for me to put this show on every single day, but you're quite literally taking presents away. You're taking presents away from a small child. And listen, if you're comfortable with that, physically like becoming like the fucking Grinch in here and taking away presents from a little kid, if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. You know, it's not, I'm not going to tell anyone how to act, how to live. Maybe sometimes I do tell you a little bit how to act and live, but like, if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. It's whatever helps you sleep at night, you know, whatever. You know, I'm just saying, to me, it's a bit selfish, but you know, what do I know?
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Dynamic Scribbles, for the 6 months of Tier 1. You care about children being happy on Christmas. Dynamic Nibbles cares about children being happy on Christmas. I don't know if I can say the same for the rest of the chat, but you know, whatever. I'm really so bad at this. Yes, thank you, Dr. Maggot. Hold on. Finishing touches. Hey, look at that. Going under the tree. Are there any Marxist-Leninist Minecraft YouTubers? I should do that. I should make some kind of like kid-focused Minecraft channel where I slip in subliminal messages. I slip in subliminal messages about collectivism. And anti-colonialism. And anti-imperialism. And anti-Americanism. Only 24 subs to go, folks. Only 24 subs to go. So it should be no problem. What, I got another about 5 minutes or so? Should be a piece of cake. Should be a piece of cake. But remember, very close, exactly. It's within grasp. And remember, if you do gift 5 subs or above, that instantly does rocket you right to the very tippy top of the friendship triangle system. That's Twitch's only 2-dimensional triangle-shaped friendship access and trickle-down cloud tiered reward system. So that's something, right? That's something. That's cool. I'm gonna put this under the tree. Starting to look okay over there. Starting to look okay. You thought those? I hope it was deserving of a sub. I'm sure that's gonna look at me. I'm Mr. Newsman. I'm such a big deal. Everyone come to me for knowledge. Come to Mr. Newsman. Wearing the same hoodie as well. Oh my goodness. Kijiji, that was not necessary. I'm thankful for it. Jeez. Goodness gracious, Kijiji Genie. That's really very, very kind of you. You absolutely bailed my ass out today. And I really, really, really appreciate that, Kijiji Genie. Seriously. You're a fucking lifesaver, and I really, really appreciate it. Can't stress that enough, how much I appreciate that. Goodness gracious. It's a really good alert. It is a good alert. From the river to the sea, Rob licking eggs is all we'll see. It's actually really funny, the whole like from the river to the sea, Israel is all we'll see. They kind of try to co-opt it, and you're rhyming sea with sea. You can't even figure out a more clever rhyme. I know it's a different word technically, but it's like it's just like lazy. Wow, I'm really taken aback by that. That was really fantastic. Kijiji Genie absolutely killing it in the game. He single-handedly keeping this stream afloat right now. I heard if you lick eggs in Gaza, Hamas will kill you. They'll throw you off a building if you're caught licking an egg there. I know, it's very scary. Very scary situation. White European ass rhyme scheme. Now listen, I don't want to be greedy. We are a mere 4 subs away from the goal. Is everyone going to let Kijiji Genie come in and be so generous, but then we can't make up the final 4? You know, that's really, now it is really measly. It really is within reach now. I wasn't totally serious before, and now it really is. Matthias, Nola has been freed from the prison of anti-Robism. That's the true criminality of
You can count on me.
anti-Robism.
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It hurts me, but it hurts you as well. Dan, thank you for the gifted sub. Very, very kind of you. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Somehow Spooky dodged a sub with all those subs getting thrown around. Somehow Spooky dodged that one. We're 3 away. 3 away from the goal, and then I gotta go pick up my kid. I gotta leave in about 3 minutes. Looking for someone to raid right now. Oh, you know what I didn't realize as well today? It's Stalin's birthday. It's a glorious day. It's a momentous day. Stalin's birthday. So happy birthday to the big man himself. Wonderful. Dan on his way to becoming an elite member. It's true. What do we say, folks? There's just 3 more subs to go. There's just 3 more. That's barely anything. Is there some kind of new Epstein news today? That's interesting. I didn't realize. Does anyone have any raid suggestions? You know, we haven't raided Tina 2 for a long time. Let's do that.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Risk Inverse, for the gifted sub. I really appreciate that, Risk Inverse. Thank you. Okay, we do 2 more. We got a minute left. And I gotta hoof it to school. Can't believe Stalin was American from the great state of Georgia. That's right. I'd love to think about Stalin on the porch plucking the banjo or the acoustic guitar. Off to the school bus, mine's myself. Yeah, there we go. It's about that time, isn't it? We got 2 more. We got about another 40 seconds. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we get to the goal? Say, boy, we're gonna build socialism in one country over here. I had a 30 stream streak today. Hell yeah, crackety crackety. I love that. I also subbed, but no alert. Only 1 to go. Alright, Uncle Trouble, well, I'll take your word for it. Well, close enough. Give my regards to Tina 2. I'll see folks tomorrow. Peace. Peace out.